Hey, it is World Theater Day. So, does that mean you're going to spend your day walking around projecting as if you were some fantastic, famous thespian of the stage? Or are you the sort of person who thinks theater? I go see movies in a theater. I'm not into that whole watching people live yelling out at the crowd sort of thing. I don't know what sort of person you might be, but there is one thing that I can tell you for certain that I know, and that is the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, gang. Yes, Jeff McAleer once again, and I am your host here at The Daily Dope, as well as happening to be the grand poobah of thegaminggang.com. So welcome aboard. It is Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday, March 27th. And I've got a pretty big show ahead of us. So I am going to be reviewing the upcoming Thanos Rising, the tie-in game from USAopoly for Avengers Infinity War. So that is coming to stores April 6th. I had a preview copy. I've got a review for you today. So that's going to be pretty cool. Got a little bit of news, not a ton of gaming news again today. I don't know. I just don't know why. I see tons and tons of Kickstarter news. And I don't want this to be like a Kickstarter show. The Gaming Gang's not going to be some everyday just pound you with, 4 or 5 Kickstarter projects. It's just not how I like to do things. Although I do have one news piece about an interesting Kickstarter. So there's that. Anyway, I do want to mention before I jump into the news that there is chat available. It's on Twitch as well as YouTube. So if you got a question or a comment, if when I'm doing a review of Thanos Rising, if you've got a question or you want me to explain something a little more in depth, feel free to chime in. Of course, if you want to just say hello and let me know that you're watching live, that's cool too. I will say hello right back. All right, so let's move on to the news. I've got 4 news pieces today, and Renegade Game Studios happens to be one of them. They seem to always have something cooking, but this is something I already knew about. And it's the new expansion that's coming for Clank, a deck building adventure. And I've got the dope. Clank, a deck building adventure, has been extremely successful since its premiere at Gen Con in 2016. Designed by and co-published with Direwolf Digital, Clank expanded in March 2017 with Clank Sunken Treasures. Now, Clank the Mummy's Curse further expands the fun, adding a wandering mummy to avoid and new artifacts to acquire in the depths of the pyramid. Untold riches await inside the pyramids of the ancients, but they are well protected. An undying mummy guardian spreads a vile curse to those who would rob its tomb. And inevitably, the treasure has attracted a dragon. Can you escape the fearsome Croxabeck? Clank, the Mummy's Curse, is an expansion obviously enough for Clank, a deck building adventure, and it does add the wandering mummy to the pathways that players will explore, as well as there are new artifacts to acquire. As with the core game, Clank, the Mummy's Curse is for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, and will play in about 30 to 60 minutes. It really depends on the number of players. This new expansion will carry an MSRP of $25 when it arrives on April 4th. I like Clank. I enjoy Clank. The rest of the gang really likes Clank too. I've got it right here. Right up on the shelf here in an easy spot for me to pull it out when I need to bring it with me. It was sitting in my car for a while too, because my nephew Cameron and his friends were like, "Hey, you got that Clank game?" And I'd be like, yeah, it's in the car. But anyway, so they love to play it too. I have not ever seen any of the expansions. I haven't seen Sunken Treasure. I haven't seen Clank in Space. And I no doubt will not see The Mummy's Curse either. Yeah, Renegade's kind of like that. I don't know. It's only when I see Sarah Erickson at a convention will she give me a game to review. Outside of that, nope. So I will have something after the news that I'm going to mention some changes that are coming in April. Anyway, moving right along, and those changes will actually affect Renegade Game Studios coverage here on the Daily Dope as well as the Gaming Gang. Anyway, I wanted to mention there's a fun, family-friendly travel game that's currently up for funding on Kickstarter for Pangea Games. And I've got the dope on Highways and Byways. Highways and Byways is a casual family game, great for board gaming couples and families. Well, yes, because you said it's a casual family game. Race across the United States in your first used car. You're on a mission to explore all places beautiful and forgotten before your vacation is over. Start the game by picking a start space and a vehicle. Each vehicle gives you different abilities, such as moving a little faster under certain circumstances or immunity to negative events. Plan your route by choosing byways, then travel across the USA a little bit every day, planning around highway construction, moody weather, and your car's pesky tendency to break down. The first player to travel all their byways and circle back to their start space is the winner. Each player's route is determined by byway cards, which are drafted at the beginning of the game. After routes are chosen, players receive a hand of 5 event cards, one of which is drawn by the clockwise player right before the player can move. Whatever is written on that event card, good or bad, happens to the player who is about to move. Players can then travel up to 6 spaces per turn, trading in each unmoved space for the ability to discard an unwanted event card and draw a replacement. Each time the game comes back around to player 1, a new construction card is flipped. Construction cards block off some of the fastest roads in the game. After 5 construction cards are drawn, players pass their event cards. There is a short video that Pangea Games has put together for their Kickstarter, so let's take a peek.
Hi Kickstarter, my name is Brandon Rollins, and I made Highways and Byways, a board game about taking epic road trips. Highways and Byways is a casual family game for 2 to 4 players. It takes 45 minutes to an hour to play. It's for ages 10 and up, and it's a great choice for board gaming couples and families. Plan your route by choosing byways, then travel across the country a little bit every day, planning around highway construction, moody weather, and your car's pesky tendency to break down. Highways and Byways comes from my real-life experiences of road travel in the USA. On a whim one night in 2015, my brother and I drove from Chattanooga to the Blue Ridge Parkway, and we slept with the back seats pushed forward and our feet in the trunk, on the side of the road. Then it was Texas 6 weeks later, then the Tail of the Dragon, the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, the Outer Banks, Niagara Falls, Bar Harbor. At some point along the way, I said to myself, this would make a great game. Highways and Byways is in a public demo state right now. It's finished. You can play it online using Tabletop Simulator. This is where you come in. Your funding, that all goes into printing this. And in return, you'll get this game at a discount plus some other really cool rewards. As I found with my first game, Warco, that was on Kickstarter about 1.5 years ago, it's not just the funding, but also the guidance that makes this process work. So I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback as well, because I'm going to continue polishing this game during and shortly after the campaign. Thank you so very much for considering this campaign. I hope you back it, I hope you get a copy and really enjoy the game. Bon voyage!
Highways and Byways is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, and plays in around 45 to 60 minutes. Now, the Kickstarter just launched yesterday, and it's at about 20% of its funding goal. You can reserve a copy of the core game and stretch goals at a $49 pledge level through April 20th. If funded, the game should arrive in August. I have to say, this looks like an interesting game. And the designer does mention that there are going to be some tweaks to the game even during the Kickstarter as well as following the Kickstarter if it's successful. And just a few things I wanted to point out. One is, I think most gamers would have appreciated more of a gameplay feel to the video, share some more gameplay items in it, as opposed to kind of angling for humor and being kind of clever in that Kickstarter video. I'm not knocking the video. I'm just saying I think most gamers would have appreciated seeing more of the game and less kind of mugging for the camera. The other thing, too, is with the map, I don't know, they're showing all these little stops along the way, but they don't say where it is. So, like, traveling to the Grand Canyon, it didn't look like there's any indication that that little circle on that road, that little dot, represents, say, the Grand Canyon. So, I don't know. I think that would that's taking away a little bit of the immersiveness to the game. But it does seem kind of cool where you're going to have these route cards and you've got your own beat up junker that you're trying to drive around the country. So that is why I wanted to share this Kickstarter, because it does look interesting. I'm not necessarily saying, oh yeah, jump on board and pledge your support. Especially $49 seems a little high. Little bit high for what I'm seeing in the game. But it does look pretty interesting, and you know me, I'm always looking to try to share some interesting items with you. Speaking of interesting, the Midgard World Book for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder is now available in PDF from DriveThruRPG and Kobold Press. I've got the dope. Adventure in a dark world of deep magic. It is an age of war. Civilization slowly gives way to encroaching wilderness, and once mighty empires now lie beneath the waves. Only magic and the warmth of hope keeps lights aglow when dread things prowl, and priestly wardings are bent by demonic rage. The omens are dire, the roads to the Shadow Realm are open again, and the Fae have returned to claim their ancient tribute. In the north, the giants prepare for Ragnarok, while the goblins in the west grow restless. In the crossroads, the shadow of the vampire princes falls across the land. Boy, Midgard's in real trouble, isn't it? The world serpent is stirring, and not even all-knowing Baba Yaga can say what will happen next. Now, more than ever, Midgard needs heroes to stand against the dark, driving it back with spell, steel, and cunning. The 462-page Midgard World Book includes detailed descriptions of Midgard's empires, cities, and kingdoms, with assorted heraldry, rulers, and adventure hooks for each state, large or small. Characters from Baba Yaga to the Lords of the Dragon Empire, from the honest folk of Zobek to various elven households, or I should say holdouts, of Dornig and the vampire lords of Morgau? Full lore on the pantheons of the Northlands, Crossroads, Elves, and others, including divine domain lists, rituals, divine demands, and the various masks and sacred texts. Plus rituals and ambitions of the dark gods for the GM's eyes alone. It also includes revised and expanded lore, the planes, history, calendars, and conflicts of the world. Forbidden lore of blood magic, void magic, and various dooms and items not meant for players' eyes, and much more. Well, you gotta keep in mind, it's 462 pages. That is a pretty massive tome. And as I pointed out, the Midgard World Book is for both 5th edition and Pathfinder. It's available right now in PDF from DriveThruRPG for $29.99. And as always, whenever I mention DriveThruRPG, if you are swinging over there to take a peek at different role-playing game products, please stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banners for the drive-through sites, and if you happen to make a purchase, we get a small portion of that, and it all adds up and goes a long way. So I see Robert Moffat's popping in and saying, "Hi, Jeff." I should say Rob Moffat. I think he prefers Rob. Says, "Hi, Jeff. Hope you're feeling well." I am feeling pretty good. I do have a Thursday appointment at my cardiologist. So I don't know. I know they want to put in another stent. I don't know. I guess I'll wait till Thursday to find out what's cooking. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I've actually even lost like 4 pounds. And I've got way more to lose from around the middle, that's for sure. All right, and then I do want to point out, going back to the Midgard World Book, I've got a quick little video. It's their launch video because the World Book just came out, I think it was yesterday, on Drive-Thru RPG. So this video is only about a minute. So let's take a look.
Welcome, friends, to a dark world of deep magic, a world of burning deserts and shadow roads. Welcome to Midgard. The hugely expanded and dangerous Midgard World Book gives you the full details of its nations, its cults, its gods, and its underworld and its strange magic. And the Midgard Heroes Handbook for 5th edition describes 300 new spells, new martial and spellcasting subclasses, and a dozen new divine domains, new weapons, new races, and much more. Light a torch against the darkness and join the heroes of the Midgard campaign.
There you have it. So that is the Midgard World Book. I have to point out all the time, I like Kobold Press. Stuff that I've seen. I haven't seen everything that they produce, right? But I always dig what I've gotten my hands on. Their world building book that they had. And I know they've got quite a few, but it's like their main guide to world building. Just like Adventure Week Games, they had sent me some of their stuff to take a look at, and I was super impressed by their products as well. So not all third-party companies are sort of lame, because I know there are a few out there that release stuff and it's sort of, you know, But no, Kobold Press does really, really nice stuff. So anyway, moving right along to my last news piece. Yes, I know I don't talk a lot about PC games and app games and things like that, but the legendary Czech Games board game Through the Ages has finally hit for PC this week through Steam, and I've got the dope. Lead your civilization from pyramids to space flights. This is your chance to make history. You begin with a small tribe. As you expand your farms and mines, you lay the groundwork for technological advancements, better governments, and grand wonders. Your military might supports your political skill as you guide your civilization to greatness. Hundreds of cards provide endless variability. Various historical figures can lead your civilization in numerous directions. Use Napoleon's tactics to conquer your foes, then switch to the thoughtful power of Albert Einstein. Wonders such as the Hanging Gardens and the Transcontinental Railroad give each civilization its own character, and the card drawing system ensures that every game will be unique. The deep strategy game rewards planning and adaptability. Thanks to the shuffling of the decks, each game will offer you different challenges. What is the most efficient way to build your economy while supporting a strong military and still keeping your people happy? Should you increase your culture steadily throughout the game, or can you rely on the opportunities of the 20th century? All strategies are available to you, but the winner will be the player who can recognize and seize the advantages presented by each unique situation. Through the Ages will normally carry an MSRP of $15.99 on Steam, but you can actually score some pretty big savings right now and get it for $9.91. It's like 38% off through April 2nd. So there you go. Now, I know that Through the Ages for Android and iOS, super, super popular when it came out last year. And I've heard really good things about the port over to mobile. I'm curious how the PC version will stack up. If there's more to the PC version, because of course most people's PCs have much more computing power than their tablets or phones. But I don't know. Maybe it's just straight same as the iOS and Android app. But like I said, heard good things about it. So folks without flashy tablets, I never play games on my phone because it's just too small. But I do play on my iPad. So, all right. So there is the news for the day. All right. So before I get into my Thanos Rising review, I just wanted to mention a few things pretty quick. First off, still got the giveaway going on for Amazing Tales. Yes! Written by Martin Lloyd. And this is the premiere print on demand from Drive-Thru RPG. It's very, very nice. And if you're not familiar with Amazing Tales, I did review it. In fact, it's funny, I kind of refer to it as the heart attack game. Because, yeah. Well, go watch the review. You'll find out why. So, but I don't have small children, and this is perfect to introduce role-playing games to small kids. We're talking 4, 5, 6-year-old children. So I want to make sure this goes to a good home. So right now I'm going to do it the contest through Monday, because I originally was going to do it through Thursday, but then I've got a cardiologist appointment, and I'm not sure if there'll be a show on Friday yet. All depends on what the cardiologist tells me. But I'm going to run the giveaway on YouTube through Monday. And it's really easy getting running. All you got to do is comment on one of the Daily Dope videos in the past week. So from last Wednesday on. Easy peasy. All right, so that is the giveaway I've got going on right now. Other item I wanted to point out is beginning in April. And I don't know, some companies probably aren't going to like this, but beginning in April, I'm really going to stop covering companies that either never send anything for review, or I have to like twist their arm at conventions to try to get something to review, because it's sort of like, I'm sorry, but the Gaming Gang and the Daily Dope is not a one-way street. It is a two-way street, and too many game companies are getting this kind of attitude. And I know there are tons of people out there covering the hobby. I get that. But I've been around doing this this is my 8th year of the Gaming Gang. And I've got almost 500 reviews in that time. And they're not just 3-minute reviews. Most of them are written reviews. I gotta admit, most of them are written reviews, but they're still very in-depth. They're not just, oh, here's 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs, and I'm throwing in a bunch of pictures to kind of just fill this out so it looks like, oh, this is a big, long review. No, it's just a bunch of pictures and 3 paragraphs. That's never been my review style. Just like the video reviews I've been doing are not 3-minute, 4-minute videos either. So yeah, so starting April 1st, and this is no April Fools, beginning April 1st, I am going to stop covering companies that have never sent me anything or haven't sent me something in years, or I get one game from them a year to take a peek at, because it's just not worth my time. It just really isn't. So, anyway, all right. Didn't mean to be like a downer there, but it's just, it's getting to the point where like I said, it's like a one-way street. It's like a lot of these companies think it's like my duty to have to cover their their game releases and things like that. And it's sort of like, well, you're not even going to provide a review copy to check out? No, sorry, just not going to be the way it goes. And if that means that our news section every day, every weekday, I should say, is only 10, 15 minutes long, so be it. That's okay. Not a problem. All right, moving right along. I'm going to do a review for Thanos Rising, Avengers Infinity War from USAopoly. And this is not in stores yet. It is supposed to release on April 6th. And it is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, and it plays in around 45 minutes to 60 minutes. A couple of our games went about an hour, but that was a 4-player game. Those were 4-player games. It's designed by Andrew Wolf with graphic design by Rick Hutchinson and product management by Carol Johnson. And I'm going to take a wild guess that project management, as far as USAopoly goes, probably means game developer. Probably? Don't know for sure. Anyway, Thanos Rising is going to carry an MSRP of $49.95 when it arrives in stores. So let's pop on over to the other camera. I've got everything set up. I am going to move this box out of the way. Hold on one second. There we go. All right, so there we go, Thanos Rising. All right, so first off, before I jump in, and I'm going to kind of show off, I did an unboxing video, so I'm not going to like go real super detailed into some of the components in that. But first off, I want to address the elephant in the room, and that is, it is an IP license, right? So what we find out is usually when we see some intellectual property, like say movie, comic, TV show, enter into the board game realm, well, let's be very honest, most of those games suck. They do. They're just terrible. Yes, I'm sitting there, oh, the Two Towers Monopoly. Wow, that's just crappy Monopoly with a Two Towers theme. Okay, the Two Towers, I should say. Or Return of the King, or Lord of the Rings, or what have you. So it's very rare that we'll see a game that is a completely unique design that's used in a, for an example, for a movie tie-in or book tie-in or comic tie-in, what have you. Rarely do we see a brand new design. This is a brand new design. This is not based on something else. So, a couple other things I'm going to point out. Suspiciously enough, okay, first thing, I know a lot of people are going to be wondering, is Thanos Rising going to spoil anything for the Avengers movie, right? Because Infinity War comes out on the 27th of April. This game is coming out April 6th. I can tell you, there's really no spoilers involved in the game. Only thing might be spoiled is there's some characters who are not in this game that people assumed were in the film. So there's that. So there is no Ant-Man and there is no Wasp included in the heroes that you're going to recruit to battle Thanos. Strangely enough, now keep in mind, I have not seen any indication that Ant-Man and Wasp were going to be in Infinity War either. So they've got their own movie that's coming out. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they show them for a minute, maybe at the end of Infinity War, that they're going to, be in the second part. But there's been no indication that I saw that we were going to see those two characters anyway. Surprisingly enough, though, there is a character that we have seen in the coming attractions, in the previews, in the trailers, and that is the Scarlet Witch. She is not represented in this game, and I found that to be very unusual. So, just wanted to float that out there, that there are some characters that you were probably thinking or know are in Avengers Infinity War who are not in this game, and there's really no spoilers. There are some villains, some big kind of baddies. Really just, it's their name and their picture, their image. All right, so let's get into the game itself. So, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my reading glasses, which strangely enough, I don't understand why, but after the heart attack, I'm on all these different medications. And for some strange reason, my, like reading distance, vision is different. It's a little bit different. Now, my far vision is great. It's fine. Now I do wear contacts, and I just got brand new contacts. So that was like 3 months ago. So I know it's not the prescription for these. But yeah, very strange. I don't know. Kind of weird. I'm kind of guessing it might be the medication because I honestly don't think it would be the heart attack itself. So, I don't know. All right, so let's take a peek at what we got. So, we've got these cubes here. These cubes are damage cubes. And I'll show you how those work. Then we've got these yellow cubes here. This represents Thanos getting closer and closer to each of those Infinity Stones. You got the big miniature of Thanos. It's a 120 millimeter figure here. Really, it's a pretty cool sculpt. But as you can see, the kind of paint job on it isn't spectacular. Honestly, I know it's kind of a cool set piece for the game. The game really didn't need it. I mean, you could have had a big standee of Thanos. But hey, it's cool. So he's part of it. So that's cool. All right, so let's get him pointed back to where he was. Then we're going to have the various different cards that make up the deck. And located in the cards are heroes as well as villains. Then we have this kind of sector board here. And you'll see that it's divided into 3 sectors. So from this point to this point is one sector. This point to that point is another sector. And of course, that's the 3rd sector. And 3 cards will be placed in each of the sectors. And Thanos is actually facing one of these sectors each turn. Then we've got these bonus tokens, which you kind of just mix up randomly. And these bonus tokens, each player will get to draw bonus tokens if they damage villains. If they're able to damage villains, they'll get bonus tokens. Then if we look over here, and I have to admit, everything's kind of crowded because if you watch the show, you know that space is at a premium. So, of course, it'll be a little more spread out than this. But at least we are getting everything from the game in the shot. So then we've got the Infinity Gauntlet here. Now, as I had mentioned before, you will be adding these cubes as Thanos gets closer and closer to obtaining each of the Infinity Stones. As I look to make sure it's in the shot and everything drops off. Brilliant, Jeff, brilliant. Hey, at least they didn't fly off onto the floor. So they have 5 little spots, on each of these discs, just like so. So I kind of put them like this, right? So I put the stone underneath on the bottom. And then we've got these 5 little squares. So as Thanos is gaining these yellow cubes for this stone, we mark him on that. Now, when he's received it, when he's gotten that Infinity Stone, then you're going to flip this over, and this is going to be a special ability that Thanos will now gain for the rest of the game. And I'll show you how that'll activate. But to start off, you're going to have all of these discs set up just like this without any of the cubes. All right, so, and of course, as Thanos gains Infinity Stones, they'll actually go in this gauntlet, in the Infinity Gauntlet here, which I kind of got a kick out of because it actually has little kind of like cuts here so that these will actually kind of sit right in there. They're not going to kind of roll around. Pretty neat. I dug that. It's just a little extra added touch that I thought was kind of cool about the game. All right, then you're going to have all these dice. So we've got a bunch of dice. We've got black, we've got green, we've got blue, and you'll see we've got 3 of each of those, and then we have 6 red ones. So the red dice are considered power dice, right? Okay. Then the black dice are considered cosmic dice. The green are mystic dice. Ooh. And the blue are considered tech dice, technology dice. Then we got these other 2 dice here. Now, these are the Thanos dice. So this determines what's going on with Thanos. So you're gonna, each player's turn, they're going to roll these dice. All right, so those are the dice that we've got. Now let's take a look at what each player is going to start off with. So each player is going to choose a team to lead. So there's 4 different teams. So you've got the Avengers, led by Captain America. Then you've got the Mystic Heroes, and they are led by Doctor Strange. We also have the Cosmic Heroes. So the Cosmic Heroes are Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy, things like that. Oh no, I'm sorry, I take that back. I think Thor's green. Forget. Anyway, but this is mainly Guardians of the Galaxy. And they're led by Gamora. And then we have Black Panther leads the tech heroes. And it's Wakanda. But, like the tech heroes, Spider-Man, who's Iron Spider, is considered a tech hero. So, you've got the different teams. So each player, if you're playing 4 players, each player is going to have a team, and they're going to have the leader of that team, and it'll tell you who's the team leader. So right there, it tells us, okay, the team leader is Black Panther. So each player will have a team. So we're going to use, as an example, we're going to use the Avengers with Captain America, and we're going to take a look at this here. So it's going to tell you what are your starting dice, because this is a dice chucking, kind of push your luck-ish game here. So it's going to tell you you're going to start off with you're going to start with 4 power dice, because the kind of like brawling, battling is sort of the Avengers thing. So it's going to tell you you're going to start off with those 4 dice, and it's going to tell you your team ability as well. So here it says, if you roll 6 power, that's what that icon is. If you roll 6 power or more on your opening roll, you get to automatically damage 1 villain. Give you an example. Doctor Strange's team says if you roll 4 mystic or more on your opening roll, you draw a bonus token. So you get to pull one of these bonus tokens. So, and as you see here, now all the teams will start off with 3 power dice. You're going to get 3 power dice. Now, because Doctor Strange's team is a mystic team, they also get one of the green dice. Just like the Black Panther's team is tech, Black Panther gets 3 power dice, but he also gets to roll, he or she, I should say, gets to roll one of the blue dice. So what does that kind of tell you? All right, so power is, these dice are pretty well mixed, where you could get power, you could get mystic, you could get cosmic, you could get tech. The black dice tend to favor cosmic. The green favor mystic, and the blue favor tech. So that is a tech symbol. This, there we go. That is a mystic symbol. And this is a cosmic symbol. Now, it is possible on each of these dice to get a 2 for whatever that die represents. But as you can see, you can also get power. You can also get a tech off of this. So, kind of cool how the dice are laid out and how the characters are broken up. So let's take a look at let's take a look at a character, and I'm going to use my favorite superhero in the Marvel Universe. I'm talking comics and everything, Captain America. I know. He's I guess he's one of the least popular characters in the MCU, the Marvel movie universe. I don't get it, because the Captain America movies have really been the best overall, right? Iron Man 3, in my opinion, I did not care for it. Iron Man 2 was okay. I'm not an Iron Man fan, actually. I do not like that character. Or Tony Stark. Anyway, moving right along. Oh, and if you're curious, because I like to go off topic, my favorite DC superhero is Batman. I'm not alone in that. And of course, obviously, it's because he's a regular dude. His superpower, or superpowers, I should say, are lots of money and his wits, his intelligence. Okay, so we're going to take a look here, and we're going to see that the way this displays is it'll show, okay, so we see here that in the upper left corner is red. So that's indicating that he is an Avenger, basically. He's a power-focused character. So then we're going to see, it says Captain America. Then we see these boxes running down the right side. Those are how many hits, how much damage can Cap take. Then we see here it says 6 power. If you weren't starting, say you're playing with a 2-player game, and you were not going to start with the Avengers, right? You're going with somebody else. Let's say you're going Black Panther and you're going Doctor Strange, right? Captain America would then end up in the deck as a possible hero to come out on this grid here. And I'll get to that in just a second. So you see here where it's got the 6 power. So Rob says, yeah, my wife agrees. Her favorite is Captain America. There you go. I wonder if that's more because it's Chris Evans or if it's Cap. Sorry, Rob, I'm just mentioning that. So anyway, so you'll notice that I'm going to talk about how you recruit the heroes. That's how you would recruit Captain America if he was here and you're not playing as the Avengers. That's why he starts as the leader of the team, but if the team's not being used, then he goes into there. And then you will see here is Captain America's special ability. So it's, if you have another red kind of power hero, you get to roll an additional power or tech die if you've got another member on your team. All right, then we will have the grid here of the various heroes and villains. So these heroes that are out already can be recruited, and the villains need to be defeated. So there's one way, and one way only, for the players to win the game. There are 10 villains overall. When you first play the game, when you're first learning the game, it's recommended that you start off by only including, well, I shouldn't say only including, by defeating 7 villains. Once your teams have defeated 7 villains, yay, you win. Now, you're never going to defeat Thanos. You're not actually fighting Thanos himself. What you're doing is, the whole premise is that if you can defeat enough of his subordinates, his henchmen or hench creatures, what have you, then Thanos won't be able to get all the Infinity Stones. So you're not really looking to defeat Thanos himself. You're looking to stop him from getting the Infinity Stones. And by defeating 7 villains, the game is basically telling you, okay, well, he doesn't have the resources now to be able to get these Infinity Stones. All right, so anyway, so as an example, we've got, here's one of the villains, and this is kind of just a low-level, kind of nobody villain, General Outrider. So you're going to see here, you've got, it takes 1 cosmic, 1 mystic to deal 1 point of damage to him. And that's what these 2 boxes are here. So you're going to assign your dice when you roll them. Then you're going to see at the bottom, it's going to tell you what is this villain's special ability? Now, it says if Thanos is in this sector, then this is the effect. Now, what'll happen, though, on the Thanos dice, you may get a die roll that shows that, because, for an example, Thanos is considered like in this sector right now because he's facing this sector. But you might end up rolling the Thanos dice and he activates the villains in the other sectors he's not in, which isn't good. I'll tell you that right now. All right, so that's basically how that operates. So then we take a look here. Here's Drax. Drax is a cosmic hero that's telling you what you need. This is just on the one roll. Well, I shouldn't say one roll. This is just on your one turn. You need to have those dice to allocate to Drax's card to be able to recruit him. Same with War Machine. So we got War Machine. Now he's tech. We got Falcon. So he's red. He's power. We got Mantis. There's Gamora here. Now, as I pointed out, Gamora's in play because we're not actually using the cosmic heroes as one of our bases of operation, I guess we'll say. So I've got this set up for the way a two-player game would operate. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to kind of play through a turn of the game to kind of give you an idea how all of this works. So I have a little box. AEG's Sail to India box top is going to do duty for me as a dice tray so that the dice don't fly off all over the place. All right, let me grab a sip here. Oh, and Rob says his wife digs Captain America, both for being Captain America and for Chris Evans portraying him. I see how it works. Okay, so each turn we're gonna start off with Doctor Strange, his team. So the first thing you're gonna do is each of the teams, each of the bases of operation have a counter, have a token. So what they're gonna do is they have to decide, okay, what sector am I gonna focus on? What sector am I trying to get stuff from? So one of the things you might actually take a look at is, for an example, so if Doctor Strange has another mystic hero as part of his team, you're going to get the bonus of rolling an extra green or black die each turn. So it would make sense for the Doctor Strange player to either go for the Statesman here or go for Mantis over here. So first thing player does is they decide what sector are they going to. So both of these sectors have villains as well. So let's say Doctor Strange's team, even though he's the only hero on it, is going to go into this sector, maybe try to recruit Mantis. Depending on what they roll, maybe end up trying to damage one of the big bads over here. Cull Obsidian. So the first thing that the player does is they have to see what is Thanos going to do. So they're going to roll the dice. And we rolled an L. So you can roll an L, you can roll an R, which basically means Thanos is either going to turn to the left or he's going to turn to the right. We also have this indicator here, which means that you're going to roll the Infinity Stone die again, and you're going to take this result as well as the other result. And then we've got this one here, which is basically, this is the one I was talking about where you can activate the villains in the other sectors rather than where Thanos is right now. So we got the L. So we know Thanos is going to turn this way. Well, great. So Thanos is in the sector that Doctor Strange is in. And Thanos will be able to attack, and the villain is also going to be able to, the villain here is going to be able to use their special ability. So we do see that with this die, and it's just color-coded to the Infinity Stones, we got the purple stone. So we would take one of these yellow cubes, and we're going to put it on the purple. Meaning Thanos is that much closer to getting that stone. All right, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to roll your dice. So we've done Thanos. Now we're going to roll Doctor Strange's team dice. So we know we get 1 mystic die and 3 powered dice. There we go. So we roll, and we've got 3 tech, and we have 1 mystic. You must assign at least one of your dice each time you roll. If you cannot assign one of your dice, you actually lose it. You're going to put it off to the side. You're going to lose that die for that turn. So let's see what we've got. So we've got 1 mystic, and we've got 3 tech. Well, the tech aren't going to do anything for us. So we're going to put 1 mystic on Mantis. So we're assigning it to Mantis because if we get 2 mystic and 1 cosmic, we can recruit Mantis to our team. So there we go. Just going to put the die there. You can put it on the card. You can put it next to the card, however you want to do it. But now we've got these 3 dice. We're going to re-roll these because, well, there's nothing we could have used tech on. All right, so we've got 2 more tech and a mystic. So we're going to go with the mystic here. Going to Mantis. 2 more. We got a power, and we've got a tech. Well, can't really assign anything because we know there's nothing for tech, and it would take us 2 power. So, I mean, we could assign it to that, but we're never going to be able to damage Cull Obsidian. So, basically, you're going to lose a die. All right, so now we're hoping, come on, we need a cosmic. We need a cosmic. Nope, didn't get it. So, basically, we don't get anything that turn for the Doctor Strange player. But now what we have to do is we have to actually do what Thanos does. So, you're going to... wait a second. No, I did it in the wrong order. Damn. Sorry. We resolve everything for the Thanos turn before we actually would have rolled our dice. So basically what happens is Thanos damages every hero in the sector he's facing. And then, since he's facing the sector, it says, if Thanos is in this sector, all players must add 1 damage to 2 heroes on their team. Alright, well, on their team, we only had Doctor Strange. So, he takes 1 damage. Then we would have rolled our dice. Yeah, we were actually doing that second. As we were playing it. We were resolving our dice first, and then we were doing Thanos. But that was not correct. Alright, so then the dice go back. Doctor Strange has taken a hit. Mantis and Gamora have both taken hits. If any character, any hero out here ends up having their row filled, so for an example like Drax, if Drax ends up having all these filled by damage, he's defeated. He's out. So as I mentioned, there's one way for the players to win. And when you start off, you're looking to defeat 7 villains. When you're used to the game, you're really supposed to play where you have to defeat 10 villains. Now, there's a lot of ways the players can lose. Players can lose if Thanos collects all of the Infinity Stones. That's it. Game over. Players can also lose if 10 heroes get defeated. Now, keeping in mind, heroes that are on this grid, in these sectors, they can take damage, and when they get filled up, they're defeated. They're taken out. Even though you can't get them, you're trying to get them on your team. If they take too much damage before you're able to recruit them, they're defeated. They're out of the game. So that's the second way. So if 10 heroes get defeated, then the third way is if all the heroes on a team are defeated. Once again, taking all this damage. And say, for an example, if Doctor Strange was not able to recruit anyone and eventually got all this damage, this team's defeated and game ends in defeat for the players again. So there's 3 different ways to lose, only one way to win. All right, so we did Doctor Strange. That wasn't too good. So now we're going to do Captain America's team, and I'm just going to say Cap's going for Falcon. And I'm going to roll my 4 dice. So I got the 4 power dice here, right? First, we got to take care of Thanos. So look, so we got another power. Another Infinity Stone. That's purple. So he's getting closer and closer to getting this. And he's going to turn to the left. Of course. So now he's in the sector with Cap. Now there aren't any villains in the sector. So we don't have to concern ourselves with that. So he's not going to be able to activate any power for any of the villains in this sector. But everybody in this sector is going to take a damage. And because Cap is leading his solo team, he's also going to take a damage. Now, there are ways to actually remove damage from the heroes. So one thing that's important, too, to keep in mind is if you recruit the hero, they lose whatever damage was on their card. So it's important as the game carries on that if there is a character, if there's a hero that's got a lot of damage, that they're getting really close to being defeated, do everything you can to recruit them. It doesn't matter if they're a good fit for your team or not. It's simply because you're going to get them to join your team, they're going to lose all their damage, and more importantly, they're not going to be defeated. Okay, so we've taken care of Thanos. Now we're going to see what Cap does. All right, so we got all 4 power. So for Falcon, we need 4 power and 1 tech. Now we're hoping to roll some 2s. Some 2 powers here. Nope, but we did get the 1 tech, so we're going to put the 1 tech there. So we still need 3 power. Now there's 1. Uh-oh. Not looking good. Not looking good. Come on. Come on. Get us 2. No. Rats. So we weren't able to recruit. So that would end Cap's turn. So basically the first couple of turns here, we're not doing too hot. Thanos already has 2 of the little cubes to get the purple Infinity Stone, while our heroes are just taking damage and really not recruiting anybody or doing any damage. So I'm going to give you a couple examples here. We're going to use this general outrider, right? So basically, let's say on this turn, Doctor Strange, and once your turn is over, you're supposed to take your team token back and just hang on to it till the next turn. So we got the general outrider here, right? So let's say, as an example, we've already done our Thanos turn, and the Doctor Strange player was here, and they rolled dice, and they got, let's see, so they'd have these 3. Righty, let's get those. Okay, there's the Cosmic. Why am I grabbing the blue? It's the green! Darn it! So let's say we've got this. This is the roll that we get. Well, the Doctor Who player, Doctor Who, duh. Doctor Who player, that's great. Uh-huh. Doctor Strange. So the Doctor Strange player could say, okay, well, I'm going to assign this and this to the General Outrider. He's going to take a point of damage. And then you would get to draw one of these bonus tokens. So, as an example, this is one of the bonus tokens. This means this goes in your supply, and you can use this at any time during your own turn to add that to what you've rolled. So you could actually use this and say, okay, so this is an extra mystic. So we've got bonus tokens like that. Then we've got bonus tokens that are going to have a one-time effect. So it says remove 1 damage from 2 heroes. So that's another bonus. Now you get to hang on to these. You use them when you want. So if you get a token like this, it's not something you have to do immediately. You hang on to it. And then you can also have tokens like this, or bonus tokens like this. That means you get to roll an extra die of that color if you decide to spend it. So not only does damaging the villains help, because remember, if it's your first game, you're looking to defeat 7. After that, the 10. So, of course, that's going to help you as far as tallying up villains you defeat. But you'll also, whenever you do a point of damage, and you can only damage one villain, you can only deal 1 point of damage to each villain during your turn. So, for an example, if you had 2 villains here, and you rolled the correct dice that you were able to give them each a point of damage, you can do that. But if you doubled up, say this, say for an example, you had rolls like this, you can't give that villain 2 points of damage and immediately knock him out. All right. So that's one of the cool things about the bonuses, because it incents you, not just because you need to defeat the villains to win, but it does incent you to try to damage these bad guys. Okay, so let's say, for an example, later on, this General Outrider gets defeated. It's got 2 damage. All right, so he's removed from the game. And anytime you recruit a hero, or a hero is defeated, or a villain is defeated, you're going to go to the deck and you're going to replace it. So here we would get Shuri replacing the villain. So you will find times where you have a bunch of villains on the grid here in the sectors. You'll find other times where it's like all heroes. So it's going to change. There's going to be a lot of luck involved in the game, because obviously enough, you're rolling a bunch of dice, you're looking at the deck of cards. Yeah, it's possible you start off, because you deal these cards randomly to begin the game. It's possible you start off and you got a bunch of villains out there and you're like, oh, crap. So, anyway, that is pretty much the game in a nutshell. You're chucking a bunch of dice. You're trying to do damage to the villains. You're trying to recruit more heroes to your side, because what'll happen is you'll get all these different special abilities. So for an example, like the Hulk Buster, once they're part of your team, you get that special ability. You get all these special abilities. So if you've got 4 heroes as part of your team, you got a bunch of extra special abilities, extra dice to be rolling most of the time, or changing die faces, or spending a die and utilizing. So for an example, like Mantis, if you expend a mystic die that you roll, you can remove 2 damage from a hero. Now keep in mind, that's from a hero. That doesn't mean it's a hero as part of a team. That's any hero. But of course, she's got to be part of your team to be able to do that. All right, just to once again wrap up. So there's one way for the players to win. and that is defeat 7 villains as your learning process, or after that, defeat all 10 villains. You can lose by Thanos gathering up all 6 infinity crystals, which, got to keep in mind, most of the time he's gonna be getting one of those cubes towards an infinity stone every turn. Sometimes he might actually get 2. So he's steadily progressing to actually get these stones every turn you play. And then once he gets some of the stones, then, for an example here, whenever you would roll that color for the Thanos Infinity Stone die, obviously he doesn't need the little cubes anymore because he's got it. Then this special effect takes place. So, yeah, as the game progresses, it gets harder. It gets harder and harder to win because you're losing heroes. Thanos is getting more of the Infinity Stones, and then of course you've got villains popping up out here, and you need to defeat them. You can't recruit them. So anyway, then the last way that a player can lose is if all the heroes on their team are defeated. If any one of the players finds themselves without any heroes as part of their team, game over, and Thanos and the bad guys win. All right, so effectively, that is Thanos Rising, Avengers Infinity War. So, what did I think of the game? I actually liked it. I actually liked it quite a lot. So did Cameron. So did one of Cameron's other friends. The fourth player, sort of like, and I can understand why. So this is what I'm going to point out. If you're a gamer and you're sitting there, and you're like, oh man, I have got to feel like I'm Spider-Man, just flying all over, just slinging around the city as I play this. Or I was, of course, obviously, most of the time I was Cap in the Avengers. So I would actually sing the old Captain America opening from the late 60s cartoon, when Captain America throws his mighty shield thing. So if you're thinking, oh, okay, so I'm going to feel like Cap flinging the shield, or the Hulk pounding on somebody, or Thor calling down lightning, no. It is not going to scratch that itch for you whatsoever. This is all very abstract. So the characters don't have superpowers. So for an example, War Machine doesn't have repulsor rays. War Machine has a special ability that will help his team. So, and that was one of the reasons why the fourth player really didn't care for the game, because it was too abstract. They didn't feel like they were, the Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy or Doctor Strange and the Mystic teams and stuff like that, right? So I can get that. So if you're looking for a game like that, no, you are not going to dig it. As a game, though, as a co-op game, that's kind of tough to win, especially when you're playing with having to defeat 10 villains. I like it. I like the assigning dice and then you have to be in a sector to be able to try to recruit or battle the villain that's in that one of those 3 cards in that sector. Really, really enjoyed it. And like I said, it's not easy. You saw me roll the first turn for Team Cap and Team Strange, got nothing out of it, right? So that does happen. So it's super important early in the game to start recruiting members to your team that are going to give you extra dice. Obviously enough, that's one of the first things that you want to do. Either they're going to give you extra dice, or they're going to be able to heal heroes. So that's important. as you get to learn the game, then you start to figure out, okay, well, say for the Avengers, right? You got the Avengers, they're all red dice. Well, with Cap, if you get another red hero, then you get the extra bonus red or blue die. So either power or tech. But then it makes sense to be like, okay, well, I'll recruit a hero that gives me another color die. So a lot of times you don't want to focus just completely on the color of your team. You want to kind of accentuate or just kind of cover your bases. So early when we started playing, that is what we were kind of doing. We were sitting there and going, oh, okay, well, that's a red hero. I'm going to recruit the red hero to my team. Didn't really work out so well. That wasn't really the way I was playing it, but that was the way Cam and his two friends were playing it. They quickly learned that, yeah, don't focus completely on the color. I think the component quality is really nice. Card quality, card stock is nice. Obviously, if you're going to play it a bunch, you're going to sleeve those cards, but they are pretty standard card size. And I found this to be a really cool, abstract sort of game. You do kind of feel like, you know, you're leading a team against these villains, just not so much where it's like, wow, it's really the Avengers. But I have to also point out, I began this review by saying that most licensed IPs that come to board games, tabletop games, suck. They are crap. This is not a crappy game. This is a good game. This is, I would say this is more towards, like ages 10, yeah, 10 and up is about right. People who like kind of push your luck dice games will dig this. They will dig the theme. People like a challenging co-op game. So people who enjoy like Pandemic, for an example, I think they will dig this. Like I said, I don't feel it's for people who are really looking to have that Avengers experience where it's like, oh, I gotta feel like I'm one of the Avengers. Guardians of the Galaxy. Nah, they're gonna be disappointed. But those who like games are gonna dig this because this is legitimately a new design. This is not something that they've just slapped on Thanos and Infinity War onto. So actually, in the end, I give Thanos Rising, the Avengers Infinity War, a very, very solid 8.2 out of 10. I personally thought I wasn't going to like the game. I'll be honest. I thought, okay, maybe I'm not going to like this. And this is like the first USAopoly game I've had an opportunity to review. Elliot, when he was part of the gaming gang, he did some USAopoly reviews, but I never picked up the ball and ran with it when Elliot moved on to his own site. So I was like, oh man, first game out the chute, doing a review for USAopoly. Man, I have a feeling I might not like it. Even though when I did the unboxing, I was like, yeah, these components are pretty cool. So yes, I'm glad. I do think it's a good game. I mean, is it fantastic? Is it like, you know, reshaping the world of gaming? No, but it is cool. And we really did enjoy it. One thing I will point out, it does carry an MSRP of $49.95 when it arrives on April 6th. Smidgen high, I think. Just a smidgen high for what you're getting. If you can find it at an online retailer, maybe $45 or less, I would definitely pick it up. I would definitely recommend it. As a $50 game, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. It's not, oh my gosh, don't buy this game for $50. I just think it's priced just a little bit high. It's a little bit high for what you're getting. All right, so there you have it. That is Thanos Rising, Avengers Infinity War from USAopoly Games. All right, so hey, ran about an hour and 15 today, so that's cool. I felt bad the past few days that the shows only run, like 45 minutes, and then another one ran almost an hour. So I was like, yeah, I always like to have a little, hit about an hour, a little bit more. So cool. We did that for today. All right, so there you have it. When you are not watching The Daily Dope, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Come on, you know the drill by now. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. I will be back tomorrow. I'm still kind of up in the air what I want to do for tomorrow's show. I might be kind of doing an overview of Phantom Leader from Danvers Games. I don't know. I honestly don't know. So, which is unusual. Usually I have some clue. But it's War Game Wednesday, and, I haven't had a chance to play at any cost Mets 1870 yet. And I haven't got any new war games, because it's usually just GMT and Flying Pig Games. I almost said Tiny Battle Publishing, but Mark doesn't send me all of those. It's usually his Flying Pig Games releases. But, I know the war gamers like to tune in on Wednesday, so I think that is what I'm going to do. All right, so that's it for today's show. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Until tomorrow, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and thank you for watching.